now we have done with this week's topic.
But I'd like to actually, before I go into this week's topic, do a little follow on. And there was something that I thought would have been important to mention as well. And that is, based on the not bang puss in a bag. Well, first of all, the reason given for tasting the pudding, eating the pudding, proving the pudding before getting married, the reason given is that you want to be sure that you're getting something that's worthwhile. But let's consider this. Let us say you're a female. A female wants to test that this man is virile, that he can perform, can do what he's supposed to do. And so she decides to test. She's dating somebody and she decides she's going to test him. So she tests him. And then she finds out he's not up to standard. So what's next? You move on. And so you date somebody else and you test again. And maybe this one is not up to standard either. And two, three, four, five, you've tested. After you've tested several persons and they're not up to the standard, I wonder who is being tested really. And what has happened to you now as a female? You become less than desirable because you've been around so much. It applies to the man too. If the man is going around testing the woman, and you want to find the right one who can do what you want her to do, the same thing applies. So really, who has proven whom by the time you've gone through three, four, five, six, seven, some a dozen or more? You know, that's a possible result from eating the pudding before to make sure it is good. So that's one side of it. Now the other part is not buying the puss in a bag. Now we know based on studies that when people get sexually involved, sex actually has a kind of a binding effect, and it tends to cloud the mind. You see, when that kind of emotion, when that kind of sensitivity, the carnality of it comes into play, you actually stop thinking uh, soberly and very balanced. It has a way of tipping you so you can't make very wise decisions at all times. People who get sexually involved before marriage and even in marriage, it's supposed to be that thing that binds you emotionally beyond logic. And so you decide not to buy a puss in a bag, and so you go taste the pudding before eating it. And then what happens? After a while, what you find is that you're not really able to make sensible rational decisions about that person who you've been involved with. And so you may see red flags, you may see things that say to you, I shouldn't get married to this person, but you have put on the glue already, and you're tired, and your heart now binds you to this person, and you cannot make the decisions. So really the result is that you end up getting married to the person who you shouldn't get married to because you are so tied to him, joined in the middle, so to speak. And what you actually end up doing is buying a puss in a bag because you really don't know the person well. You have actually prevented yourself from knowing the person well enough. So you go into something without knowing the true value of what you're getting into. And so you're trying to avoid buying a puss in a bag. You're trying to avoid getting something you really don't know well enough and end up causing yourself to get somebody you really don't know well enough. So that's really um, has the reverse effect of what you wanted. So these are two points I thought that we could have added to it. And I see Clive raising a hand. And so When I'll go back to you for moderation, and then after this we can go to tonight's topic.
All right, I really don't want to stretch out because I don't want to get too deep when we do have another topic to discuss. But there's an aspect of it that we also didn't really delve down into. We are locked in a society today where we have these options of pushing a bag or whatever. That's the society we are in. But can we imagine a society that is governed by biblical morality? And think of it. Today, the woman is looking for a man basically with experience. That is what it is. So she wants a man that has been out there, while for the man it is the opposite. He wants somebody who has not been out there, basically. That's the reality of the situation. But in a biblical point of view, and this is what used to happen in early biblical times around the children of Israel, is that they were both inexperienced. They were able to grow together and build their experiences together. And then together with the Spirit of God guiding, because just because it's sex doesn't mean that you leave God out of it. He's right there in the middle, so to speak. Because he's all part of it that binds you together. And growing together, you would have experienced your physical desires together, learning together what it is you like and don't like. And then you'd have gotten out of the situation of needing to know anything else because all you would know is the person that you're with. It is just sad that society has gone away from biblical morality so that we are here ended up discussing these sort of things.
Yeah, thank you, Clive. Wayne?
Thank you, Don, and thank you, Clive. Very nice addition, and that's some very good points you raised there as well, Don. Just to add to summary of last topic, and so hopefully that'll be a nice segue into this topic, this week's topic. So back to you.
All right. Yes, indeed. So we have covered the preliminary bases, I think. The flags, the red flags, the green flags, the amber, yellow, whatever. And let us say now we've gotten to the point where all of those red flags are out of the way and you've decided you want to get married to this person. Now, two aspects of it we want to look at tonight is one, the kind of wedding, because believe it or not, that is something that people have decisions, uh, varying decisions, varying opinions about. And the other thing is, so you get married, so what? What do I do? You know, I do. After you say I do, what's next? And we'll touch on that briefly. And I just want to open it for anybody again at this time to if you have a question, because if you have a question in the interim, I'll entertain those questions in between. So you've decided to get married. Now there are varying views, as I said, about this. Some people want a small wedding. Some people think, okay, I just want two witnesses and I go before the pastor or the marriage officer or whoever is going to do it, and we sign the documents and we're married. Some people say, I want all my friends and relatives to be there. I want to spare no expenses because this is going to be the greatest event in my life. And I want it to be big and I want everybody to share in it. And we're not going to spare the expenses. And there are those who say, well, okay, let's just scale it down so we can, it must be something we can afford because we don't have a big budget. And I want to look a little bit at perhaps all three and consider why not for any one of them. Now, one of the first things I want to say is if you are a Christian or if you're a religious person, now marriage was ordained by God. And if you're going to get married, it's only logical that you should ensure that God is the one who conducts the wedding. God is the one who conducts the wedding. That's the first thing to bear in mind. So this thing about a marriage officer, you go before the marriage officer and you don't have a religious wedding. He just declares and you say I do or I will or whatever is said, and you put the ring on the finger and that's it. You sign the papers. So I personally, I don't agree with that kind of a wedding for the simple reason that you have not asked God, who is the author of marriage, to conduct the wedding. I believe that an agent for God, an emissary speaking on God's behalf, somebody who has connection with God, should have say and perhaps the authority in the wedding. So it's important that we ensure that when we are setting off on this life journey, we present it to God. Only He can marry two people. Only He can truly bring you to that wedding. Now, small, medium, or large. Really, I don't think there is a set rule. And for that decision, I would say both parties will have to decide. One thing I'll say is that if you both have a desire for friends and relatives to be there to witness it. Now, marriage is not a private affair. It's a public affair. It is something, when you get married to a person, you're saying to the world, I have committed my life to this person. And so you do want to make it a public affair. Now, when you have two witnesses there, yes, you're going to have your ring on your finger. Yes, you may have the paper that says it. But I think, my personal opinion, and I'm subject to other opinions, but my personal opinion is that you do want to share your experience, make it public for the world to know. So when you get, for those who want a lot of people to be there, all their associates, all their relatives to be there, I can understand. I can understand. But the budget may be an issue. And I'm going to say this. You can have, well, my opinion again, you can have a lot of people at a wedding on a small budget. Many times what causes the great expenses is because you want a lot of fanciful stuff. You know, what does it cost to feed 200, 300 people? It's not a whole lot. And if it's a meal, what does it cost you to have 200 or 300 people in a church or wherever you're going to get married? Not a whole lot. So you may not even feed them depending on what you want to do. You can do all kinds of variations to your wedding. You can also have a wedding that's online and then you can share it with the world without any great expense too. So in this day when we have technology available, you can be creative and have a big wedding. You can have a worldwide wedding with not much expense. So I really think that all kind of things come into play. Some people don't want to have a big wedding because they don't want a lot of people to know. Now, when you, and you've got to decide, you've got to measure the response of the person you're getting married to. Why doesn't she want her friends to know she's getting married? Why doesn't he want his friends to know he's getting married? Is that another red flag? That's something to consider too. So I really think it depends on the individuals, how they feel about it, what you want to do with the wedding, but your reasons you should explore. You should explore the reasons. And I think what I last said there is a very good option for just making. You can do it YouTube live, stream the whole thing, send out invitations to all your friends and relatives all over the world, all your associates, anybody you know. You can let everybody see. Why? If you're getting married to this person, this should be somebody you're proud of, and you want people to know, I am proud to let you know that this person, I have committed my life to this person, and I'm emphasizing it that way. Not that this person now belongs to me but I now belong to this person. Why do I put it that way? Because I believe fully that marriage is a give uh, contract. It's a give engagement, enterprise, activity. I give myself to her. She gives herself to me. And if we, I said it a couple of weeks ago, if we both do that, if we are both looking for the welfare and the well being of the other party, if my interest is to make that person happy, then, and that person's interest is to make me happy, then we have a beautiful marriage. The problem with a lot of people is that they are trying to make themselves happy and trying to find somebody who will make them happy. If you're getting into marriage because you want somebody to make you happy, your motive is wrong. I'm sorry to say it that way, but of course, I expect you're going to be happy in marriage. I expect that whoever you're getting married to is going to make you happy. But that should not be your motive. Your motive is that you find somebody who you think is 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 the person that you can give to so much that you bring joy to this person's life. The things that you like to do will make this person laugh, will make this person enjoy life, be happy. That's what should make you tick. That's what should move you. So, and it's as we talked about before, it starts before you get married. You just want to do things for this person. You just find yourself so excited about doing things for the person, and it goes on in marriage. Um, that's why opening the car door is not a problem. You want to make the person happy. Opening the door for her to go in, you know, that's making you as a man happy. And whatever it is that women do to make men happy, you do that. It's not an issue to cook for him if you know that makes him happy. It's not an issue to wash for him if that's going to make him happy. It's not a chore. It's not drudgery because you're making somebody happy, somebody who you care about. And of course, he's going to do that for you if it's going to make you happy. He's going to cook for you if that's going to make you happy. He's going to wash clothes for you if that's going to make you happy. It's just not it's not a question of that's her responsibility or that's his responsibility. You're living your lives to make each other happy. So you're saying to the world, I have decided to give my life to this person, and I want you all to know. So all you other guys who were interested in me, I want you to know that I have given my life to this guy. He is my husband. So don't show any more interest. All you other girls who were interested in me, I have now committed my life to this woman. I belong to her. So I'm sorry, the door is closed. That's really what a wedding is. So why wouldn't you want people to be there? Why wouldn't you want to tell the world? Why wouldn't you want to stream it live across the globe? And so for me, that kind of says what I think that you should make it public, make it known. Um, so you get married. So what now? After you say I do, of course they ask you, do you know those wedding vows? Do you take this man? Do you take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife, to love, cherish, honor, and obey in sickness and in health, through all this and all that, till death do us part? And we all say I do. Who would say no? Nobody. But when it happens, do you? What do you do when sickness comes? What do you do when hard times come? What do you do when the challenges come about? You know, a lot of people say, because I made a vow, I will do my best. And I want to say this, if that's the reason why you're doing it, something is wrong in your relationship. If you're doing it because you made a vow, something is wrong in the relationship. You should be doing it because you want the person to be happy. So when the person is um, nagging, when the person is miserable, when the person is irritating, what do you do? These are things that we have to begin to think about. And some of us are married already. And some of us know what I'm talking about because we meet these things in our marriages. And we know that sometimes we don't have the right reactions. But I'm saying, take the focus away from self. The reason why our reactions are bad most of the time is because the focus is on self. Oh, you're hurting my feeling. Oh, you're insulting me. Oh, you're disrespecting me. You know, take the focus away from me and think of that other person. Why is this person doing this? Why is this person reacting that way? Is there something wrong? Is there something that's bothering her? What can I do to take this person back out of that situation? Because I know that the person loves me, and I know this is an unusual reaction. So it's what you do now. It's what you do after the wedding. Of course, um, I can talk about the day of the wedding, and people look forward to the wedding night. And some marriages go bad from the very wedding night. Some marriages go bad because the wedding night wasn't what they thought it was going to be. You thought that, when you go to the wedding and all these people who are toasting you and say what is going to happen tonight, and some people get very, very suggestive when they are giving their toasts to the bride and the groom and talk about what's going on. Well, for a lot of times, the bride and the groom are so tired and worn out from all those plans and preparations for the wedding that when they hit the bed, it's sleep. you know or maybe one is so tired that they can't go any further now, and so the wedding night is not always the wedding night. And sometimes you begin to have conflict. Sometimes even the first few days or nights, if you manage to go on a honeymoon, if you can afford to go on a honeymoon somewhere, whether it be costly or not so costly, what happens in that shouldn't even be. It's really a time taken apart to get to know each other a little bit. And this is the get to know you period outside of the courtship, getting to know you a little better. Is getting to live with you. We're going to be sleeping in the same bed. Wow, we never did that before, did we? Well, we shouldn't have. Now we're going to be sleeping in the same bed. And can I sleep beside you? Okay. What do you expect of me, and what do I expect of you? All these things come into play at this time. So what you're going to do, there are so many different things that come into play here. And I just kind of feel like I could ramble on and on and on. But these are things that we have to think about. And even before getting married, we have to consider this, that maybe the wedding night shouldn't be the night you take to consummate the marriage. Maybe you should just rest. Maybe you should go and have a meal and go to sleep and all that. And you've got to start learning about those little bad ways. Does he snore? Oh, never slept with him before. Now you're sleeping beside him and he snores. You're just getting to know the guy. Things like this may crop up. What are you going to do? Does she sleep curled up? Does she sleep with her feet sprawled out? She's accustomed to sleeping alone. Does she lie down across the bed? All these things come into play at this time. And there are so many things that can come. And it's these provide opportunity for people to talk to each other, to explore each other's likes and dislikes. So I know I've been going around a little bit different things, and I just wanted to explore some of these. There's no prescription for what you do. There's a lot more to come about what do you do in the weeks ahead, because we're going to have, different things are going to come into play in the marriage, and I wanted tonight to be general. But I'll want to pause now and leave room for the questions and comments. So Wayne, back to you.
Thank you very much, Don. Certainly a feast of information there this evening. And something came to mind as you were sharing about each of the couple taking on to make the other happy. And I heard in well, I don't think it was a marriage seminar, but it was in relation to relationships. And he said, the speaker said, most people think it's a 50-50 thing. He said, half, you put in your 50%, and he said, no, it's 100% to nothing. And if both are doing that, then wow, what a success. Incredible. And so it's just another way of making that point that you did there. So thank you very much. And so it's now time for questions or comments or any feedback from our guests here on the meeting this evening. So we're going to open up your mic or put your hand up according to the little hand at the bottom of the controls there, and let's hear your question or comment or feedback. Go ahead. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you, Wayne. All right, here's my question. If she discovers the first night sleeping together that her partner snores, um, shouldn't love cover a multitude of sin? And that should be swept away very easily because of the love that happens and exists between them both? Question.
Well, it's interesting, Ted. I've heard people who say they absolutely cannot stand snoring. They can't sleep with a snorer. I've heard people say that. I I am not a good person to judge that, because I'll sleep through anything. I'll sleep through noise. I'll sleep with snoring. I'll sleep through almost anything. When I go to sleep, I relax and I sleep. But so it would be nice to hear from somebody else. But one of the things I can suggest is that, okay, remember, she is giving to him and she finds that he snores. Now, there are options. You can look for ways to stop him from snoring. There are things that are online and suggestions that people give about how to stop somebody from snoring. So that's one option. There are earplugs that she can use, or she can, over time, go hug him and say, I'm going to learn to live with this. So there are options, but I see a couple hands, Erica, Wayne. Yeah, I see Erica's hand, so maybe somebody else might have another suggestion.
Yes, Erica, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Wayne. I was kind of smiling to that question that Ted asked, because when um for me, I don't even know. I can't even tell anybody that I snore. I don't even know, because as Dan says, he will sleep through, so my snore would not bother him. But I might have heard him once or twice if I'm up. But listen, sometimes you just turn a person on the side. I realize that is something that works. Sometimes it's really just a bad position you're in, and it you just need to just turn the person, and that can help. I know I have a relative who's really, really awful at it. I mean, it's just loud, it's boisterous, if you ask me. And I know that the wife has a little problem with it. But as Don said, it's not like an incurable disease. things are there, something is wrong with the ear tract or something like that, just help them. You can find solutions. So a person doesn't have to even live with that awful snore. So as Ted says, love will make you try to find solutions. It is possible to minimize or even totally eradicate that thing from your life, but really and truly, a person who is understanding should be able to at least you try something. And what will put your mind at ease is that you have tried something and you're hoping and praying that it will help your partner. So that alone should bring a sort of a relaxation to you and a little comfort. And something you have to just laugh. Make light of it. If I hear him snoring and carrying on bad, and I'm going to laugh about it first, and then I tell him I was carrying on bad. So I don't know. Those are little things that I think we could do, but not get so uptight about it.
Very good questions and comments. And anyone else?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on that point you made about not 50% is really you're giving half of yourself to a relationship. And half plus a half in this case does not equal 100%. It means relationship is only going halfway. But if you do give 100% and the other person gives 100%, then you get a little bad maths. Because 100% plus 100% in this case equals 100% in terms of the marriage.
Eric, are you there for?
I have a comment on actually a little bit of both topics. I mean, the 100% thing. I kind of look at it a little differently because, like in situations, you know, depending on which party is better at certain things, the other party might give 100%, and that'll make up for my shortfall, and vice versa. If I'm better at something, I give 100%, it'll make up for her shortfall. So either way, it'll work out to be 100%. That's how I look at it. As far as the snoring thing, hey Ted, the terminology you were referring to is a lumberjack, and I should know because I'm a snorer. So I try to sleep on my side. I can't sleep on my stomach. That's real difficult. So I try doing my side. I try left side, right side. I try not to sleep on my back, but my back is actually the most comfortable position because I fall asleep faster that way. But I try not to. That's all I can do. And the wife has. I guess she says sometimes she changes me, and I don't even know she's doing it. Once I'm sleeping, I'm oblivious most of the times. So
Yes, I've got Nadia here just popped in to remind me that there's lots of devices, and Don mentioned it earlier. Little snoring strips that go across the nose that lift up the nasal passage and makes it clearer for
yeah,
breathing, things like that.
I've tried those, and it'll probably last for like half an hour.
Thank you, everybody. Is there anybody else?
If I may just say this, but there is a real, I don't know, the counselors that we have out there, even those who are Christians, there's some sort of disconnect because you find that, and I must say, thank the Lord for a seminar like this, because the truth is, these things are not opened up to people. There's a very superficial sort of counseling. I tell you, when I look back to the counseling that we got, I'm saying I really could have done without that. You know, we were Christians, of course, we have been Christians, and we try to abide by the principles of the Bible and all that. But when pastors who counsel people year after year after year and see how marriages break up year after year, day after day, and still continue with this sort of superficial thing, I don't know. I can't understand because I think what we have got so far I think almost anybody here would be able to counsel a new couple, or those who desire to get married in a more meaningful way, because it is not easy. And I've always said that it is indeed a miracle. And thank God for Christianity, you believe in miracles, that sort of way. Believe in a God. Because for two persons of two different backgrounds, two different upbringing and socialization to come together and you come from a quiet home. And then all of a sudden you come to a home now of your own with somebody snoring in your ears all night. You come to a home where you have to deal with maybe somebody cheesy foot. I don't know. Just kind of things that people talk about. You just so many different things. And that important ingredient that is called love will make you not even notice these things, or at least if you see a fault, you take it as your pleasure to help to make a difference in the life of a person. So it's almost like God's own creative act. When he just look back and see what he has created, he felt so good about it. And so in the same way, if we can have that influence over our partners where we can help to transform their lives, if we see something, a fault there, we can help transform them. We should be so very grateful and be happy that we were able to participate in that work of change. um I'm just saying, and I'm encouraging all of us, whatever is our takeaway, let's see if we can help to build a young person's life or a young couple or something like that. Just tell them the real thing, tell them as it is. I would have appreciated somebody to tell me as it is, but I had to work through my own life. And I think all of us, we might have gone through that stage where you just have to work through this thing that doesn't come with a manual. Sometimes you have to fight your way through it. And sometimes you don't have family members to support you and, be there. So you're just there. Lord, what is this that I've put myself into? There's just this uncertainty. I mean, I can tell you, I was like in a new world. What is this world? I don't know. I mean, everybody here, those who are married, you would have had different experiences, but it is something that can really shock you. So I'm just saying, I just hope that all of you try to just make it real. Say young people aspiring to get married, tell them it's not just a bed of rose. It's a real life that you have to learn to compromise and make sure that the love is there. If you're uncertain about the love, you're gonna have some serious challenges, So that's just where my heart is.
And it's worn very nicely on your sleeve, Erica. Thank you. Looks like you married an honest girl there, Don. And she's right. Everything. In fact, I'm marveling at the value of our question and feedback time, especially this evening. Everybody that's commented after the presentation has been very valuable and great lessons to be learnt. And yes, does marriage take work? Sure, it does. And anyway, I don't want to hold Clive up. He's had his hand up there. Clive, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Wayne. I do fully endorse everything that Erica has said. And
Yeah.
in terms of the counseling, whether before and during, I think it is so important when you have that counselor who's actually Christian minded. Because one of the things that I think is missing, and especially in a world that is growing increasingly secular, is a spiritual aspect that is involved. Right? And it is creeping in. That secular aspect is actually even creeping in, and I think has crept in, even in what you've called Christian marriages. Because so much today you find that marriage and I think Don mentioned something in line with that today. Marriage is seen more as a way of self-gratification. How can this person make me happy? And that is why things like snoring will get in the way. Because the snoring bothers me. It's not about me helping the person to get over it, it bothers me. might be willing to kick the poor man off the bed because he's snoring so hard. Because it's all a matter of self gratification. And it comes right back to giving 100% and not leaving God out of the mix. The simple fact of the matter is the Christianity and religion takes up such a small part of the world population today, which means that increasingly marriages are done by secular people who have no spiritual basis of being together. No spiritual basis. There is no evolutionary reason why marriage should even exist. So there's no foundation there, no fortification to keep it together. And it is essential that we not leave out that spiritual aspect, which is even missing in some Christian marriages, where God is left out, and therefore things start to fall apart. Because you know that without God, the only thing that is left is self. And once self is the only thing that is there, then things will fall apart inevitably.
Excellent. Thank you, Clive. We do have time for one more. So that'll be Ted. I see his hands up. But a couple of people now have mentioned marriage counsellors, and it reminded me of a very good friend of mine who's a marriage counsellor, and he has a very, very high success rate with couples. He doesn't fluff around the edges like Erica expressed a concern about. He gets to the heart of the matter. And if he's got both the ear of both the husband and the wife, the success rate is 96, 97, 98%. And why? Godly principles. Even if they're a secular couple, he still applies godly principles. They might be conveyed slightly differently, but the principles, the foundation, the Bible as the wedding or marriage manual, etc. And so, there are some good ones out there, and he is one. Thanks, Ted.
Okay, thanks. Thanks to our presenters tonight, Wayne and Don. Don, I consider all the presentations that have been made so far to be invaluable. Tonight is no less. So I'm using this occasion to summarize. I like what you said, Sister Erica, and let me tell you why I like that. Because Don has made the point that marriage is, what's the description now, Don? It's a contract, but you gave a description, which I like. I can't remember exactly what the words are, but I tell you, it's a contract that can be guided only by faith. Let me tell you why. And I'm going to take a cue from Sister Erica, my co-laborer. Here's what she said. Two people who have come from different backgrounds, they have entirely different likes and dislikes and all of that. But let me take it a little further. That God put two people together who are diametrically opposite to one another. So I've opened your eyes tonight. I'm going to open your eyes to see something many of us probably have not seen. It takes God and faith in Him to guide this to its success. So all of us who are entering into a marriage relationship without God's guidance, I wish you luck. God bless you. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Ted. And thank you to everybody. Had a good turnout here this evening, although we're just getting started with our year's program for the new year. So I wish all the best for everybody for 2024. And we'll have a graphic, digital flyer out very soon for next week. So we encourage you to share that around with everybody you can. Email it, text it, social mediaize it, do all you can to get it out so that more and more people are exposed to this. We have wonderful feedback, and some have shared it tonight, that thank God for a platform like this. We have no stopping point in mind, whether it goes for all of 2024 or the first half of the year or the first quarter. We'll be guided by somebody who knows more than we do.